Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Crossovers Hot Wheels Twin Mill. And this is one of the more make sense crossovers of all time because, again, Hot Wheels is mostly all cars. So, a line of robots that turn into cars, kind of a no-brainer. This is only one of the two. I could have got the other one today, too, but I just kind of went, I didn't really care about the other one. I don't know the name of that one. This one is Twin Mill, and this is the car mode, which I usually don't start with first. Main reason we are starting with this first, though, is because, well, it's the Hot Wheels crossover, and it kind of felt right. As far as it goes, I've never owned this Hot Wheel, not even as a kid when I actually had Hot Wheels. It is a very nice car mode, I cannot lie. A lot of this nice teal paint on it. The blue is very nice. And it's probably the best painted Transformers car mode in forever. I can't remember one that's been better painted than this. Everything's here. We have headlights. We have these. Are these the fog? No, I don't know what the lights are. There, we even have rear lights. It even has a little Hot Wheels insignia back there. And everything's here. Like, this is the most complete car mode that Hasbro has put together for a deluxe-size Transformer in ages. Now, he is a little more expensive than a deluxe. He's actually in a weird price point. He, instead of the typical $41, it is Canadian where I live. That's with taxes included in the total. Typically, it's $35.99. He was like $39.99. Like, on the shelf, and he came out to, like, 40, so he was a little bit more. But it wasn't, like, Voyager pricing. It was lower than Voyager, but above regular deluxe. It was really weird. But the car mode here is very, very good. I like it. It's very nice. It's just good. I know it's a little weird to do it backwards, but for the Hot Wheels crossover, it only made sense, too, because this is, again, if you're a Hot Wheels collector, this is what you're probably getting it for. You're not getting it for the robot. You're getting it for the novelty of it. Or you're going to leave it in the box, which I did have the box. I don't know what happened to it. It's gone now. Oh, well. Anyway, let's get into this, which is pretty good, the transformation. I actually really do like it, except for one part, which is the first part you have to do no matter what. Parts forming. Yes, there's parts forming. You have to remove these two parts. If you don't remove it, when I first got him out of the box, because he does come packaged in the car mode, I couldn't figure out how he worked for a minute, because I was like, it's just solid. It's too solid. These blocks pretty well lock up everything because you either have to start at the front end or you have to start at the windshield, and they block it all. So what I usually do is come to the windshield and fold that up like that. You then fold it around and fold in that dark blue section. Once that's done, you can come to the back here, open it up, and extend the legs outward. Unclip those parts there, rotate the feet like so, so make sure the actual foot is pointing from the top, so pointing downward. Close that over like so, leaving very ugly gapping. We'll talk about it. Do that. You're then going to rotate the top half around, put the windshield in place to form the chest, which I really do love. Flip the head around, which is a really cool head, actually. Flip the shoulders down like so, and then flip the arms so they're like this. And then do the same on the other side. I actually like how they handle it. It's like Point Blank, but done good. And then, for the parts forming bit of it all, you simply just take these parts here, and they just slide on. So they're his weapons. And there we have it. I actually forgot to use the flame effects in his alt form. He comes with 2 flame effects. These are his only 2 accessories. They go right on the pipes. I'm sure this will be the one exception where I have the alt form pictures. But as far as he goes, that is his robot mode. And I like it, like, a lot. There's one major gripe outside of the parts forming, which, again, I'm not as heavy on it as a lot of people are when it comes to parts forming. I do think, yes, it's comping out. But in the case where it's his weapons, it's like, okay, maybe. That's the only thing. I'm not as heavy on it when it comes to the weapons. His legs are stupidly long, and I hate it. It's the only aspect of the figure that I'm like, his legs are just so long. Like, they cut out this, like, little bit here between these teal parts. Perfect length. They're just a little bit too long. So he's a little bit weird proportionally. His arms look really stubby, and it's just not good. But everything else about him, I love. The paint is actually crazy. Again, maybe that extra little bit of budget added some paint there because it clearly worked. That little bit of extra paint is going pretty good. I'm just going to remove the fire effects here from the pipes. The chest, I love the look of that. I just love the way that they did it. It being the windshield, they fold up that little bit. You still have the roof with the teal up there, and it looks great. I love the look of the shoulders. I liked it on Point Blank. I've always loved when the front end of the car becomes the shoulders. It's a very nice look, and I've always liked it. I liked it on Point Blank, but Point Blank sucks. That's kind of the only issue with Point Blank, is he does suck. As far as the arms and everything go, they are really spindly looking, though, if they don't have the pipe section on there. But they do still have that little bit of decal, so it does work without them. The alt mode, though, does not work without it, because, again, very kind of important part of the alt form to not have. It kind of takes out the whole middle of it. The legs, like I mentioned, way too long. The paint on the shins is great, but they're hollow, and there's no effort. They could have tried to do something. Like, there's a panel here. Like, genuinely, if they add a hinge, and I know they wouldn't have because, you know, probably screw up the licensing or whatever. If this hinged in, it would be perfect. There's enough room where this part here that kind of hangs out could have hinged over and closed in, and it would have closed the legs off perfectly, and the figure wouldn't have had the major gappage. It kind of sucks because it's clearly there. But everything else about the figure, I think, looks fantastic. The head sculpt, very generic on, but I still quite like it. I like it. It has little pipes coming out of the back of his head. The back is clean. It's just a great all-around robot mode, other than the fact that he's hollow and has super long legs. I really love it. I genuinely love this. It's probably my favorite of the crossovers. I don't own any other crossover figures, mostly because most of them didn't interest me. But Hot Wheels crossover did, because while the car mode's going to cause an issue with, you know, that's the main licensing aspect, similar to the other crossover figures, it's kind of one that makes more sense than, say, Jurassic Park, where they made the Jeep into a guy. You know what I'm saying? But that's that, so let's get into the articulation. We have a rotation at the head. It is on a ball joint, so he does have a bit of up and down. There's also a hinge in there as well, just for the love of the game. Forward and back, outward, elbow joint. Doesn't go quite 90, unfortunately. It actually goes farther backwards. Swivel, hand rotation, waist swivel, forward, back, outward, thigh swivel, knee joint. Goes exactly 90. You could have made it go farther, considering, you know, there's a giant gap there, but, you know, do it well, I guess. Tilt at the ankle, and the foot is ball jointed as well, so it does have a swivel to it and a bit of up and down. So, pretty good articulation. The only thing it really doesn't have is a butterfly. That might be asking a lot. But other than that, that pretty well sums him up. So let's just get into my final thoughts here on Twin Mill. I think Twin Mill is a good figure. Now, for the crossover line, he's probably one of the better ones. Because I know for a fact a lot of those crossover figures didn't go over so well because their pricing sucks. Now, this guy being a little more expensive than a usual deluxe, that's whatever. Honestly, if they had more figures in that price range, that would probably work, because a lot of the time what ends up happening is they charge Voyager prices for a deluxe figure, or they charge leader prices for a Voyager figure, because I wanted the Naruto crossover. I remember going to Toys R Us before they closed again, and there it was. I was like, okay, I kind of want this. Nope, it is $70. I went leader class for a deluxe, because I thought it might have been the Tigatron mold at the very least, you know? No. Cheetor mold, $70. You get the little frog guy, of course, but it just wasn't worth it in the end. But this being only like about $7 more than usual, yeah, I do that. I do it. And genuinely, it's just a great figure. I just realized what I did with the windshield. Oops. There we are. But it's just a good time. It's genuinely a good figure, and I can recommend this one wholeheartedly. Again, there is issues. Parts forming, gappy legs, legs being too long. It is an issue. I'm going to fully admit it. He's not perfect. I'm giving him a 3 out of 5 for those reasons, just because they're glaring problems. And also because I didn't show it the first time, we're going to put on the flame effects because I missed it at the beginning. There we go. They go right around the wheels. Ta-da! But that is basically it for this review. This has been my review of the Transformers Crossovers Twin Mill. This has been Elton Athlete signing out.